And consumers who don't want to be tied to a mobile phone contract have an alternative: prepaid phones. Metro PCS is one of the most recognized prepaid phone brands in the U.S., but quarterly earnings fell short of Wall Street estimates. And for all the latest details, we head to Mark Niu, who is standing by live in San Francisco. Mark.
Well, there was some good news, though, for Metro PCS, which delivered a profit and in some cases met Wall Street expectations and beat the revenue expectation. But some troubling signs also emerged. Metro PCS lost about 90,000 customers during the quarter, compared with the addition of nearly 200,000 subscribers in the same period a year ago. Metro PCS is the fifth largest mobile telecom network in the U.S., and it's currently in the process of merging with T-Mobile, which is in the U.S. ranks as number 4. That deal is expected to close in April. One area both Metro PCS and T-Mobile have been aggressively pursuing is that of prepaid phone plans, which had previously been viewed as only for low-income customers and tourists. But that appears to be changing. Prepaid phone subscriptions are on the rise, increasing by 12% from the previous year. Lori, an artist, pays just $80 a year to use a mobile phone. She's charged 20 cents a minute, but still comes out ahead because she uses it so sparingly.
I have found it a better deal. I don't need the range of services provided by, having a regular account. Prepay works for me, and I'm not using a smartphone. I'm just using, a pretty minimal handheld device.
The big carriers have traditionally enticed people to sign up for 2-year contracts by offering huge discounts on the newest phones.
I would consider a prepaid card, but what is it going to cost for the phone? And will I be able to keep up with technology as it rolls out?
But more and more people are choosing to forego the latest phones in search of a better deal.
I think one of the reasons that pay-as-you-go or prepaid cell phones are on the rise now is because of the recession. People don't have as much money, right? So if you don't feel very flush, you're not going to want to sign on to a contract that might cost you $2,000 over the next 2 years.
Tweeny recently paid an early $150 termination fee to get out of his 2-year AT&T contract. He then bought a $120 pay-as-you-go HTC phone from Virgin Mobile. With a low monthly fee and unlimited data, Tweeny came out ahead in just 6 months.
For a long time, carriers sort of assumed that consumers were stupid. As long as you didn't have to, you didn't make them pay a lot of money up front, they wouldn't pay attention to the total lifetime cost. Without contracts, they're going to have to be a little more creative. They're going to need to be a little more responsive. I think in the long run, this will be really good for the industry because, let's face it, carriers don't have a great reputation for being super customer friendly.
TracFone Wireless, a subsidiary of Mexico's América Móvil, is now the U.S.'s biggest prepaid company. All the major U.S. carriers have followed suit, each offering variations on pay-as-you-go plans that include high-speed data features. There is still a stigma to owning pay-as-you-go phones. People usually think you're either in financial trouble or just out of date with technology. But Dylan Tweeny of VentureBeat is a good example of how that stereotype is changing. He's not in financial straits. He just hates being locked into a contract, and he's also a real techie, too. Michelle.
Got it, Mark. Tell me, how many phone choices are there if you choose to have a pay-as-you-go plan? How big is the range?
Well, that was originally the big concern, but now you can almost get everything. Certainly phones like the iPhone 4 or the iPhone 4S. Dylan Tweeny in the piece was using the HTC One 5, which is only about a year old, and he could do everything he needed. Unlimited data, running Android 4.0, running apps. And you may have a harder time finding some of the very latest phones, but new players seem to be sprouting up all the time. For example, you can now get the iPhone 5 on a $45 a month prepaid plan through Straight Talk at Walmart, but you've got to buy the iPhone 5 first for $649, and that's a good $200 more than on a contract. Once again, it's best to sit down and crunch the numbers before you buy. Michelle.
All right, thank you so much for that update. Mark Niu live for us in San Francisco.